Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel for another live stream. And Rob Page has just announced his 26-man squad that he is taking to the 2022 Qatar World Cup in a few weeks' time, or next Sunday, I believe it is. So Rob Page has announced the 26 players that will be on the plane to the Middle East, off to Qatar, to represent our country in that World Cup. We'll go into it in a second. Before we get into it, please make sure to absolutely smash that red subscribe button. Hit the like button as well. Comment your thoughts down below on the Wales squad. We will go through it position by position in a second. Maybe some players should have made the cut. Maybe some players who have made the cut are sort of lucky to get in. I do think that a lot of people will sort of be happy with the squad that Rob Page has selected, because ultimately, I don't think there's many players that he's missed out, if any, if I'm truthfully honest. So we will go through it together to make sure that we can definitively give our understanding of the team. So let me try and get this in the perfect... there we go. And if by magic, we have got the 26-man squad. We will go position by position, like I say. As Andrew says in there, Imia Ohid. That was very loud in the away end at Leicester yesterday. So big up to everyone that was at that game. What an atmosphere that was. But yeah, so as we start with the goalkeepers. Wayne Hennessy, Danny Ward, Adam Davis. Just like a lot of you, I don't think there's any other goalkeeper that would be selected in a free goalkeeper sort of selection. Danny Ward has turned... Oh, shit. Danny Ward has turned his form around for Leicester. Adam Davis is not going to play at all in the tournament, barring an absolute injury crisis in goals. Adam Davis will never start. It'll be out of Wayne Hennessy or Danny Ward to get the number 1 jersey for the World Cup. I think that's a debate in itself. Who gets the starting goalkeeping spot out of these two? Personally, I think I'd go Ward based off ability, but if it was based off experience, based off know-how, maybe I'd edge towards Hennessy, but Ward was in goals for the last Euros as well. So, you could easily say Ward has got the experience as well. And like I said, Adam Davis will not play a single minute in Qatar. So I don't really see any issue with Adam Davis going. It's just about having someone in there who has been with the squad for a long time. He could have played Tom King or took Tom King. Could have taken Chris Maxwell. But like I said, the third choice goalkeeper in a major tournament is pretty much irrelevant, because never going to play. And, if you take someone... The problem is, if you take a third choice goalkeeper who thinks that or deserves to be starting, then you've got 3 potentially players who could be starting. So that third goalkeeper is always going to be someone that doesn't start effectively, which is bad, but it is what it is. Moving on to the defenders. I'm going to have to zoom out to get Connor Roberts' name in. So the defenders to go to Qatar then. Ben Davis, 100% must go. Quality player. Ben Cabango, again, was never not going to go. Tom Lockyer, Joe Rodon, Chris Mepham, and Ethan Ampadu. Those are the centre-back options. So Ben Davis, like I said, was an absolute must. Ben Cabango, Tom Lockyer... Yeah, I mean, again, probably won't start Tom Lockyer. Rodon, absolute must. Chris Mepham and Ampadu. Mepham, again, was a must. Ampadu is so pivotal to this squad because he can play as the centre-back. He can play in midfield if needed. So Ethan Ampadu is a perfect selection. He's a manager's dream because he can play in that centre-back role of a back 5. He can play in the centre-back of a back 4. And he can play in the midfield as well as a CDM or as a centre-mid. Ethan Ampadu is an absolute manager's dream. So I would probably say from the centre-backs, if we are going to go for it at the back, which I think we will go for it at the back. It probably will be Ben Davies, left centre-back, Joe Rodon, middle centre-back. Joe Rodon, right centre-back, and then probably Ethan Ampadu, centre-back. So it'll probably be it'll probably be Danny Ward in goals, a back three of Davies on the left, Ampadu through the middle, Rodon on the right of a back three is what we'll probably go with in terms of the goalkeeper and the centre-backs. Moving on to sort of the wing-backs or full-backs. Chris Gunter, again, was always going to go for experience. Reece Norrington-Davies, of course, not going to the World Cup due to injury. So Chris Gunter comes in. I'm pretty sure that would have been Reece Norrington-Davies if he wasn't injured. I think Norrington-Davies, despite, as Andrew says there, the experience that Gunter has, I believe that if Norrington-Davies was fit, I think he would have been the third fullback. Or maybe we'd have taken 4 fullbacks and had 2 left, 2 right, sort of thing. I'm unsure there. So Chris Gunter was always going to go. And then Nico Williams, Connor Roberts. Again, like I said, they're absolute obvious choices. Connor Roberts, not played a lot for Burnley this season, but still a very, very good fullback. And Nico Williams, of course, signed from Liverpool to Nottingham Forest in the summer. Again, such a good right back. I believe he's played quite a lot of times for Nottingham Forest this season, so you can see exactly why Rob Page has gone with him. So, I am obviously happy to see that. Andrew says Sorba can go wing back as well. That is very true. Well, we haven't got on to Sorba yet, so I know he probably is gone, but theoretically, we've not gone into that yet. So Sorba Thomas isn't on the plane as of yet, even though he is. Not a bad squad for Wales. I've got them to top the group with England being third. Don't be so negative, man. Don't be so negative. So those are the defenders. Again, look, I'll stress it again. Ben Davies must go. Cabango must go. Tom Lockyer was maybe. Joe Rodon, yes. Meppen and Ampadu, 100%. And then Guntz, Nico Williams, Connor Roberts. Moving on to the midfielders then. Quite a lot of midfielders here. We'll go into sort of like the actual central midfielders, and then we'll talk about like the advanced midfielders. So Joe Allen. If Joe Allen wasn't in this team, I'd have been really annoyed at Rob Page. He's seen the rise of Wales with the likes of Aaron Ramsey, Wayne Hennessy, Gareth Bale. He's seen the rise of Wales. He's been involved in the rise of our country, and it's only right to select Joe Allen to probably start in his last ever major tournament for Wales, because he's not going to make Euro 2026 and Euro 2024, unfortunately. I don't think, anyway. You might have a different opinion, but I think that is that's Joe Allen's final, or this is Joe Allen's final big tournament for Wales. Matthew Smith or Matt Smith, again, maybe there was better options, but Matt Smith for me is one of those that probably won't play. Dylan Levitt has had an unbelievable season so far in Scotland with Dundee United. Signed permanently to Dundee from Manchester United, and he has been absolutely superb over in Scotland. And fair play to him. He was on loan at Dundee, went back to Manchester United, and then Dundee have now bought him permanently. And he looks to be settled in Scotland. Maybe that's, no disrespect, but maybe that's his level. Maybe Scottish Premiership is his level. Joe Morrell, again. Joe Morrell, every time I've seen Morrell play for Wales, he's been, solid. Not been awful, not been world-beating, but solid. Super Johnny Esther, again. I'll just cover these two in the same light. Johnny Williams and... I'll do it properly. Johnny Williams and Aaron Ramsey, again, like I said, 2 players that I've seen it all with Wales. They've seen the rise, they've seen the losing to Cyprus and Andorra and these teams too, qualifying for the World Cup, qualifying for 2 Euros back to back. So, they have to be in the squad. It's just an absolute obvious choice to put them both in the squad. So Johnny Williams, Aaron Ramsey. I expect Johnny to get quite a few minutes, but obviously Aaron Ramsey will be starting for Wales in that midfield. And then Ruben Colwell, what an experience that's going to be for Rubin Colwell, not just this World Cup, but for future major tournaments. Again, if we are to qualify for another World Cup, he's going to be 4 years older, a lot more experience, and he's already going to have a World Cup experience under his belt as well, which gives him extra confidence going into the World Cup in 2026, should we make it. So I think Rubin Colwell had to go. And I'll talk about this at the end of the squad, but there is something that I like with this Wales squad that Rob Page has selected, and obviously we'll deep dive into that in a second, because I like what he's done with the squad, and you'll see why, or what I'm on about in a second. Moving on to the forwards, then, these absolutely pick themselves. I'll go with like sort of the actual out and out strikers first. Kiefer Moore, again, very good season for Bournemouth this season. He's been really sort of efficient for Bournemouth, been scoring goals for them as well. Scored 2 goals in a game the other day. I can't remember who they played. Was it Spurs? He was very influential to, or is influential to the way Bournemouth play. A target man, a proper number 9 is what this Wales squad need, just in case we can't play the fast-flowing football we want to play. We've got a big man up there to lump the ball up towards. So I think, having Kiefer Moore in the team is exactly what you want. And then you've got the elegant players around him then. But yeah, Kiefer Moore was always going to go. Again, one of the first names on the team sheet, potentially in Qatar against the USA for that opening game. Mark Harris, again, another number 9 who is just a goal scorer. He does score goals for Cardiff. I hate to say it because I hate them, but if it benefits Wales, then I don't care. I think Mark Harris, Sparky, is definitely someone that we want to include in that squad. Whether he gets a lot of minutes in Qatar, I'm not too sure, but he definitely does deserve to go. And again, I'll say what I'm on about in a minute towards the end about about the squad that Rob Page has selected. Moving on to the not really strikers. First one is Brennan Johnson. Again, unbelievable player. Was very, very pivotal to Nottingham Forest's promotion last season. And it looks like he's settled in at the Premier League level quite well as well. He's come in. He's been promoted. He looks like the Premier League's his level, like he can play at that level. And he's just developed his game from the Championship season last year to make it as a Premier League footballer, and he's played really well this season. He scored a couple of goals for Forest as well, so it's always good to have that sort of form going into a major tournament. Like I said, this is a weird tournament. Nothing like this would ever happen where a major tournament is midway through a season, so it's a bit unknown to everyone. Apart from AFCON, of course. AFCON actually is mid-season, isn't it? It's normally in like January time. Dan James, again, unbelievable for Wales. For club level, not quite the player that we see on a regular basis for Wales, but Dan James, again, was never not going to make the team. He probably will be one of the first names on the team sheet. I expect if we go with a 5-2-3 that Dan James will be off the left of that front three. Or if we do go with the 3-5-2, he could even be used as potentially a wing back, potentially, or as a front two with maybe Gareth Bale or Kiefer Moore up front with Bale. Who knows? Anything like that could happen. Again, Dan James on loan at Fulham this season, not really made it this year at Fulham on loan from Leeds. But Dan James, again, it just gives you that 8 ball, doesn't he? It just gives you that option on the break to break a team down and to really impact the game off the bench. I think if he doesn't start in a specific game, he could easily come on, run at their defence and cause them problems. So I think obviously Dan James has to be in it. And then the main man, the man that our country's hopes rests on, really, Gareth Bale. If he has a good tournament, I think we will have a good tournament. I'm not saying it's all Gareth Bale, because I hate when people say that, or Wales will only do well. It'll depend on what Bale does. And I think there's a lot of very good players alongside Gareth Bale, but there's a reason why he's the captain. There's a reason why he is probably one of, if not the best ever Welsh players. And there's a reason why he is that man. He's that man because he's a talisman. He's a winner. We've seen it at Real Madrid. We've seen it, well, not at Spurs. We've seen it at Real Madrid, even in LAFC, which he scored a goal in the MLS final, whatever it is, the other day. We've seen it. He's got a winning mentality, and he doesn't like coming second. And I think having that in your squad, someone who's been in major finals, who's been in high-pressure games. He scored 2 goals in the Champions League final, Gareth Bale, and I think having that experience alongside the quality of Bale is going to, like I said, whatever we do, I think will not just rest on Bale, but if Bale can have a good tournament, I think we'll have a good tournament. And I think the aim for Wales is to get out of the group. And, you know, if we start quickly against USA in game 1, that gives us a block to bounce off, basically, a bounding block to kick on, beat USA, move on into the next game. And I do think that Gareth Bale will be a massive part of if we do anything in this World Cup. And when I mean do anything, I'm talking, you know, the last 16, qualify out of the group, maybe quarterfinals, because I think this Wales squad could, you know, maybe get to the quarters. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, Senegal without Sadio Mane now, so if we do somehow win the group and Senegal comes second, I mean, I'd fancy us against a non-Mane Senegal team. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about the squad, big up Solo, was the age. Now, Robert Page gets a lot of stick for the teams that he selects, not enough experience. But if you look at the team, Ben Cabango, 1, Joe Rodon, 2, Ethan Ampadu, 3, Nico Williams, 4, Sorba Thomas, well, not Sorba Thomas, but Dylan Levitt, 5, Harry Wilson, 6, Ruben Colwell, 7, Mark Harris, 8, Brennan Johnson, 9, Dan James, 10. 10 of the 16-man squad, maybe a couple more, will be at the next Euro/World Cup if we qualify. And I think that is one thing that I really have applauded Rob Page with this selection. He's give players a chance, like Ruben Colwell, like Mark Harris. He's give them a chance in a major tournament to not just try and perform at this tournament, but looking at 2-3 tournaments in advance. Like Ruben Colwell, what is he, 18, 19? He will play, if we qualify, for the next 4 or 5 major tournaments. That's 10 years, isn't it? Yeah, like 10 years. And I think, you know, at the 29, 30, what he might be in that time, that gives him the time to try and perform now, but to develop for the future as well. And I think you've got to applaud Rob Page with that. So that is the team then. This was only a brief video. Wayne Hennessy in goals with Danny Ward and Adam Davis. Ben Davis, Ben Cabango, Tom Lockyer, Joe Rodon, Chris Mepham, Ethan Ampadu, Chris Gunter, Nico Williams, Connor Roberts as the defenders. Sorba Thomas, Joe Allen, Matt Smith, Dylan Levitt, Harry Wilson, Joe Morrell, Johnny Williams, Aaron Ramsey, Ruben Colwell as the midfielders. Gareth Bale, Kiefer Moore, Mark Harris, Brennan Johnson and Dan James as the attackers. Please, guys, make sure to absolutely smash that like button. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button as well. Comment your thoughts down below if you agree with that Wales squad. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Up the cover.